everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So what do you know about Klaus Kinski and Werner Herzog? Well, you may know that they had a kind of a tumultuous relationship together, and all the evidences point out that Klaus Kinski was a lunatic, B, Klaus Kinski was a fucking lunatic. But the first movie they did together, and the first movie I actually saw, with them working together, was this movie, Aguirre, The Wrath of God. And how did that first experience of Herzog goes? Absolutely fucking amazing. I love this movie. So let's take a look at why this movie is so great. This is Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Peru, 1560. So the conquistadors led by Pizarro is coming down from the Andean mountains towards the jungle. They are on a mission. They are going to find the city of gold called the El Dorado, which is, rumored to be somewhere down there in that impenetrable jungle. But this is not actually a story about Pizarro and his hunt for the city of gold that actually happened. No, this is actually going to take a little bit of a detour in this movie, because Pizarro and his conquistadors is lacking supplies and food, and they need to resupply themselves. So they select a smaller party to try to find a way to more civilized areas, and try to find food and supplies and stuff like that. And one of the members of this party is of course Aguirre, played by Klaus Kinski and his mad staring eyes. So they go into the jungle, but paranoia and infighting and madness and bad luck and bad decisions are slowly threatening to engulf the entire party. Will anybody of them make out of there alive? Will they find the city of gold, just by pure accident down here? Or will everybody just be engulfed by the jungle? That is essentially what this movie is. And right from the start, I'm gonna say this. This movie looked fucking incredible, and despite this movie allegedly not having that big of a budget, the opening shot for this movie is nothing short of absolutely spectacular and awe-inspiring. There are hundreds of extras in costumes and carrying cannons and stuff like that up the fucking mountains down towards the jungle. It looked amazing because once we get rid of Pizarro and other things, we just have this rather small cast that is making their way through the jungle under more and more distress, highlighted by our narrator who tells us how many days has been since they last left the main party, and what kind of dire situations we are at today, and the madness just keeps ramping up all the time. And this movie is a fucking sprint, 90 minutes long. Stuff is happening all the time, and you're never quite sure what is going to happen next. You kind of realize it's kind of early where this one is going to end up at, and that may make the movie a little bit predictable for some, but I was just enjoying myself so much and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I always guessed that something bad is going to happen, and I was mostly right all the time. This is not a historical drama about the conquistadors and their evil deeds against the local population or anything like that. It's not an action movie. It's not an apocalypto type of a sweaty heart-pounding action movie or anything like that. It's not an adventure movie. It's not some art house artsy-fartsy allegorical movie either. It is just a descent into madness, and I love almost everything about it. And why is it so good? Klaus fucking Kinski. I don't think there will ever be another Klaus Kinski in the history of humanity, because he was really one of a kind when it came to acting. He just had this magnetic personality, and he has this kind of weird charisma that just goes through the screen, and you're just sitting there and are actively scared of him, because this guy's a fucking madman. This is a fucking lunatic we're talking about here. And I love the atmosphere in this movie. It is just so stressful, and everything is so heart-poundingly doomy and gloomy, even though I was really, really, really unhappy with the soundtrack of this movie. The soundtrack really should have sold this as this doom and gloom atmosphere and the tone that, you know, this movie was going for, but it wasn't helped by that one, and it was also not helped by the fact that the conquistadors and almost everybody else in this movie speaks German. And that was very distracting, and I kind of wish that they could have, you know, had Spanish actors doing this, and it would have felt more authentic. But on the other hand, if they would have been, you know, Spanish actors speaking Spanish, we would not have had Klaus Kinski. So fair trade in my opinion. So this movie moves along pretty nicely, pretty good pace and all that stuff, and you're really into what's going to happen. And then we come to the ending. And the ending is nothing short of a fucking masterpiece. It is a long, fantastic monologue of the megalomaniac madness that has finally caught up with the movie and just, you know, engulfs the entire thing. I love this ending so much. It's one of the most perfect endings I've ever seen. It is an iconic ending, and it really elevates the movie. If you've never seen any of the Klaus Kinski, Werner Herzog movies, I do recommend them. I've seen a few of them. This is by far the best. Cobra Verde was also pretty good, but this one is the real standout. And it's a movie that you probably will just see one time. And once you've seen it, you're gonna say to yourself, wow, that was a fucking excellent movie. But you're probably not going to, you know, revisit it anytime soon. The writing is great, the acting is fantastic, especially from Kinski, and, you know, the atmosphere in this movie is fantastic. I'm not surprised that Francis Ford Coppola drew a lot of inspiration from this movie when he made Apocalypse Now, because there are some pretty good similarities between these two movies. And if you've never seen it, as I said, do see it, because it is an experience that you will never forget, with a performance that is just one of a kind, performed by, you know, an actor who really was one of a kind. And that ending, oh boy. Aguirre is by far not alone as a compelling character in this movie. You have a lot of very interesting characters. You're not quite sure where they're going, and I was really compelled by all these people, but especially Kinski. I give The Wrath of God 87 points. It is a very good movie. It's a very unique movie that looks like nothing else. And apart from the, you know, German language, everything else really feels very, very authentic. And it really gives you a feeling of what it must have been like, you know, to go down these rivers and to walk through this jungle for the conquistadors and stuff like that. Everything actually looks kind of impressive. And as I said, the introduction with all these extras and the cannons and stuff like that, it looks absolute boss. So which one is your favorite when it comes to the Herzog Kinski movies? Comment below, and I'll see you next time from, well, so and so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.